and it was for Tiffany. I think we're alone now.
Yeah.
And completely unrelated, I played on her newest album that's not out yet.
What?
So, and I don't even know that she knows that I got brought in to do this, but a buddy of mine has this streaming concert series, and he goes, "Hey, we're doing this, this, and this. Can I hire you to do the thing?" So I was like, "Up next, Tiffany performing all the hits," and so.
We are so thrilled about our guest that we have this episode. We're going to bring him to the stream right now. He is the one and only Ace Von Johnson.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. How are you?
How's it going? We're good. How are you?
I'm fair. Thank you so much for having me, both of you. Appreciate it. Nice to be here.
Of course. Okay, so we kind of wanted to start with this. There's a lot going on in this world. Everything is crazy right now. We don't like to get too political or anything, but we just wanted to know, how do you like your milk steak?
My milk steak?
Oh my gosh. Come on, it's an Always Sunny reference.
Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry. I'm already failing. That reference went right over my head.
It's totally fine. But how about we can pivot it. We can ask, do you have a favorite character, a favorite episode from Always Sunny?
Well, I mean, my favorite character will always be Rumham.
Oh, Rumham.
My favorite character is Charlie, because I feel like I think I'm somewhere between Charlie and Mac, sort of 60-40.
Okay.
But Charlie is definitely one of my spirit animals. And I apologize if you hear snoring in the background. He's just out of frame here. You can see the one. I have a new foster dog here who's sawing logs, and I don't want. I'll bring him over later, but in case the microphone picks up what sounds like a wood chipper, it's the rescue boy. My favorite episode will definitely be I wish I could do the whole thing.
I mean, we can. We got time.
We can buy the rights.
Okay, well, let me start at the top of the episode.
Okay, go ahead.
The proposal at the end of the Nightman episode is fantastic, but I like the callback to I can't remember, and bear with me because I haven't seen a new episode of Sunny in probably like 2 years. I think I'm really out of touch. I'm just going to start with that and say, look,
that's okay.
I love this show, but I'll stop watching it in 2018 or whatever. And then I'll slowly try to catch up and fail. But the first 5 seasons I know pretty well. So again, I think you caught me with the whole, what was it? Milk steak?
Oh yeah. Milk steak.
Okay.
I take my raw.
What's the episode where there's a callback to the Nightman Dayman thing? Where they're like a garage band and it's just 2 of them. Do you know what I'm talking about? And he's dressed up like David Bowie.
Oh, this is gonna come full circle in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Because there's another Dayman Nightman episode reference where they're like a band.
So it's I don't want to say the name of the episode because it's a little risque, but it's about Dee's boyfriend who they're trying to decide because he has a little hand or like a little foot or something. And so they're all trying to form this band together. But Dennis wants to do one type of band. Charlie wants to do another type of band. And then Frank, he's like, come on, the kids are going to be bopping with us. And they're like, the kids aren't bopping anymore, Frank, So that was the first time actually that they got together.
Yeah, that's the prep. What is the word I'm looking for?
Preface?
Prefaces. The beginning.
Yeah.
Something
yes, like of course. The beginning. Yeah. Seriously, the best show ever.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. Anyways, so The Nightman Cometh is definitely my favorite episode. Oh, here comes my old man here.
Here we go.
Come here, buddy. Oh. So this is Rufus.
Hi, Rufus.
Oh my
delicious.
God, look at you.
And he is a very old man.
Oh.
And he is presumably a junkyard dog. And I don't know if you can see how skinny he is, but he's
He
just
is
all
skinny.
bones.
Yeah.
And
Bud.
there you go, buddy. And a friend of mine has a rescue out here, and they got him, and he needed somewhere to go urgently, and so here he is.
Oh.
And I apologize, I'm getting way off the
no.
topic.
I mean, it is a topic that will be discussed at length anyway. So
Yes, of course. We have many questions, but how did the two of your doggies get along?
Pretty good. I would say overall, I'd give the whole thing a B minus, just because
That's passing.
He's
passing
definitely
grade.
passing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very grumpy old man, and I don't think he's used to living in a home with a princess.
Uh-huh.
So, and my dog Mila, whose birthday was yesterday, just turned 8. She's a bit of a diva, and
Aren't we all?
right. And my whole world revolves around the dog, and so I think she's a little put off that now her universe is divvied up.
Understandable. I mean, I'm an only child, so I can only imagine if another child, dog, whatever came into I would be a little, I like my time. So
yeah, what the hell's going on here?
Right. But Danica, why don't you ask your questions about that now, and then we can.
Sure. So I was curious, how many dogs have you rescued or fostered, and what advice do you have for people who want to do the same?
I've technically rescued 4 dogs, and Rufus is only my second foster ever. And to be perfectly honest, I wish I could have been fostering more dogs over the last couple of years, but prior to COVID, and then now me moving into my house, I just didn't have the means. I was living in a small 1-bedroom in Hollywood and then touring, so it's even having one dog is can be not. I'm trying to think what the word I should use. Not problematic, but I'd have to go away for 6 weeks and then figure out what to do with said dog. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't trying to add to that.
It's tricky, it's tricky.
It's definitely tricky, and I apologize because I am a total space cadet right now. What was the second half of your question, Dan? I'm so sorry.
What advice do you have for people who also are looking at either adopting or fostering?
Do it. I mean, fostering alone is just so rewarding in the sense that you're taking in a dog. I mean, this dog came in from a pre-established rescue that already was overflowing. That might be an overstatement, but had their hands full. And I saw a post that said, "We just got this guy. We really need someone ASAP 911. He's old and he just wants somewhere to be." And I was like, "Oh, I got somewhere. I got a whole house full of somewhere." And my advice is, you're not going to find a more rewarding, act, to be blunt. I mean, I was talking to a friend today about animal rescue, and I said, I have a friend that does some squirrel rescue, and a friend that is in is large, let's just say wolves, works with wolves, and friends that do all kinds of stuff. Obviously, cats and dogs, but I'm trying to think outside the box here. But I mean, if you take in a rescue or a foster, I almost said Roscoe, which is like a combination of foster rescue, a Roscoe.
I think you invented something.
Yeah, Roscoe's foster and rescue.
Is there waffles? No.
There might be waffles and chicken.
Yes.
So I'm kind of dragging this out, but you're not going to find something more rewarding than having an animal, whether it's a cat or a dog or a squirrel or a baby elephant, that you wake up and there's this critter that's just like, "I love you, please feed me, please cuddle me, and please protect me from the world at large." And I'm sure the latter part some of us can relate to. But I've been a dog guy since I was a kid, and there's nothing more unconditional love than your pet when you come home. That's just like, I know you were only gone for 17 minutes, but it felt like forever. I missed you and I love you. Thank you for being here, that kind of thing. And there's something to be said about that. And, I prefer to align myself with animals than people because animals disappoint me far less.
Fair enough. Yeah, Danica has 2 dogs, and I have
both technically rescues. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, one is a very recent addition. Hamish, he is a golden retriever, came from Golden Retriever Rescue of Houston.
Cool.
And he is the goofiest, dorkiest ham of a boy. Like he's such a goof and a love.
Was he a rum ham?
He's a rum ham.
Do you find that he's really smart intelligent for a dog?
Not as much as his sister.
Okay.
His sister we actually rescued when she was 6 weeks old. And she's the one that's turning 2 on Saturday. She's my little princess.
Happy birthday to her.
She has an underbite that would just make any bulldog jealous. But she looks like a miniature version of a black lab. She's the cutest. But she is incredibly smart. And it to the point that it can be very irritating because she knows exactly how to get things. And she's just cute enough that she gets it every time anyway.
I can relate.
Yeah. Hamish, not quite as quick on the draw, but
what his name is Hamish?
Yeah.
What can you explain the origin of that? I'm just curious.
I can. So his sister's name is Kiri.
Okay.
And they are both Scots Gaelic names. So Kiri is not spelled any kind of way that you would ever imagine it. It is Ciaridh. And it effectively means the little one with black hair.
Okay.
And Hamish is actually one of the 2 Scottish versions of James.
Oh, wow. Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So I'm sort of learning Scots Gaelic as a language too. So it's my husband is Scottish. So
that makes sense. That's really cool though. It kind of a little more deep rooted than he looks like a Rufus.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for asking. Nobody's ever actually asked me about my dogs on the show. So.
Yeah, of course. I found that to be two actually very interesting names.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I have 2 sugar gliders, Beetlejuice and Bill, and then we have a hedgehog named Vlad, and we love them very much.
I did not know that you have sugar gliders, and I am fascinated by those critters. I wanted one at one point, but apparently they're a handful of as far as upkeep, maybe.
Yeah. So Beetlejuice used to have full reign of our place, and he would just bop around. And then, when we first got him, we weren't as knowledgeable that they are colony animals, and so we got him a brother, Bill. Yeah. And now they just want to be by themselves, and they do their own thing, and then we feed them treats, and then they love us. So it's a good
relatable.
Time. Yes. Yeah. But I mean, they're fun. Unfortunately, where we live, we can't have dogs. So we're we'll have our little exotic animals and we'll go hang out with other people's dogs. So
nothing wrong with that.
We do our thing. But okay, well, speaking of animals, this is a terrible transition. Just roll with me here. Yes. We know that you have a love for the creature. So we wanted to know, right? Good. We got there. When did your love for the creature begin, and what do you have in your creature collection?
It's just out of frame here, just over my shoulder, whichever shoulder that is.
Everything's backwards here.
Giant. It's not a good angle here, but there's a giant life-size cutout. There's a dog behind me licking himself, and I'm very distracted at the sound that's emanating from behind me. I apologize.
Rude. No. Dog's gonna dog.
Very rude. There's a giant life-size creature from the Black Lagoon cutout that was issued by Universal Studios to promote the release of the Creature from the Black Lagoon DVD box set some, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was a must-have. But as far as what is in my collection, that's my prized piece is I have a 1956 Creature Walks Among Us, which is the third in the series. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, is that right? 1956, Creature Walks Among Us, one sheet, and oh, hey, Mike. And it is, I didn't realize this until I went to have it framed. It's almost 3D. It's textured, and so when the poster, if you will, the one sheet was assembled, it's got different layers to it, and so I don't know what good that does now, but if you look at it up close, you can see that there's like, there's like water and then a creature, but it's just paper, so it's not. It just gives it this subtle 3D effect, which is interesting because nowhere is it mentioned 3D. And then I have a few other pieces. I collect vintage horror movie one sheets, like theatrical posters.
Hey,
That's awesome.
So I have, it's a dangerous, slippery slope we're on with that sort of topic as far as like anything horror movie.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of mixed reactions, but how do you feel about the Monster Squad?
Oh, I love Monster Squad.
Okay, we're good with Monster Squad. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Monster Squad came out, God, what year was that? Like 87? Monster Squad?
maybe 80.
No, because I think it was.
Or
I think it's
Was
closer
it
to
84?
87, 88. I don't think it's that early.
oh, okay.
I can't remember. I'm guessing.
Ask the
Monster
internet.
Squad, as a child, as a product of the 80s, on
87. Yeah.
I was right.
Nailed it.
Nice.
on
We shouldn't be surprised, but
as a product of the 80s, I mean, that was a time when horror was, reigned supreme. I mean, Elvira was a household name. Nightmare on Elm Street was everywhere, that kind of stuff. So it makes sense that someone said, hey, I'm going to name drop here.
Go ahead.
Gremlins and stuff like that was such a thing. I just had lunch on Sunday with Zach Galligan.
I saw that.
Zach's a really good friend, and arguably knows more about music than anyone you'll ever meet. He's definitely an audiophile and then some.
Cool.
You'll be like, this the second Tom Petty album's session tambourinist was actually from Jethro Tull's guitar tech, and you're like, what? How do you know this? I digress.
Cool.
But
Cool.
the mid to late 80s, especially, things like Gremlins and Monster Squad and a plethora of other movies, that was, somebody. I'm surprised because I think the movie was kind of a flop.
Big time.
Yeah,
and also because
commercially.
they wanted the approval from Universal Monsters, and last minute they're like,
They didn't get it.
nope,
Okay.
Creature, Swamp, or Gillman, they called him. They're
Gillman,
like,
yeah.
you can have Gillman. But
Well,
yeah.
It's interesting because when you're 9 years old and you see Monster Squad, you don't know. You're like, that's the creature from the Black Lagoon. And that's Frankenstein. That's the werewolf and the mummy and all this stuff. And so
Yeah.
it's sort of a moot point whether it's got the Universal branding on it or not, especially as a kid when it's a movie directed at kids. I mean, what would you say is directed at like preteens or teenagers maybe?
Oh, the Goonies crowd. Like
The
literally
Goonies crowd, exactly.
Goonies
Yeah,
crowd,
like 7 to 17 kind of
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anybody that was like 34 in 1987 that was like, I was first in line for Monster Squad.
So you haven't seen the
We're
Wolfman's
there.
Got documentary then? 'Cause these people
You know what?
are-
I actually have seen part of it. I think.
You have? I made it
Yeah.
in for like 1 second. I had my like one moment of like, and then I was gone. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's. You can only see a fraction of my house here, but I mean that's.
We need the tour. Like we need the MTV Cribs.
We're doing this from my laptop. Might be difficult to walk
True.
the laptop around.
Fair enough. Next time.
Next time. Well, I mean, if we're gonna get into 80s and horror, there's
Let's.
that is my brand. There's a Tales from the Crypt doll. And these are all pull string dolls or whatever, and they're all, of course, in their original packaging.
Yes, of course.
Freddy Krueger and Beetlejuice, and then next to them, behind the Snoop Dogg, what record is that? Doggy Style LP.
Oh hell
is a
yeah!
whole- I like hip hop. is a whole plethora of boglins. If anyone remembers boglins from the 80s, they're those like little. Here, I'll pull them down.
Okay, bring out the boglins. Let's go. Boglins.
Do you know this? I think this is before my time.
So again, these were kind of like 80s pop culture, cashing in on the whole like critters, ghoulies, gremlins, that whole thing. And he's got socks stuffed in him so he'll maintain his shape. So I'm not gonna fiddle with him.
You don't fiddle with the boglin. That's what I hear.
Never mess with the boglin. It was like most of the things I have. It was something as a child that I wasn't allowed to have. So now as an adult, I was like, oh, I'm gonna buy all of those.
Oh yeah.
You know. But
and you can, because you're an adult. And isn't that the best thing about being an adult?
I'm an adult. I have my own house. And it looks, the few people I've had over, I go, now bear in mind, it looks like a 17-year-old me decorated it, and that's how I live, and I'm comfortable with it.
I have an aggro crag, so I get it. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I get it.
There's nothing wrong with that. And my whole upstairs hallway alone, talking about 80s horror and then marketed for kids, it's exclusively Creep Show. So I have just Creep Show theatrical movie posters in my hall, including a French Grand, which is some 6 feet tall. So I'm a dork. I'm like totally, I don't know what people may think about me preemptively, but I'm a nerd. And
you're amongst friends. We are nerds.
Yeah,
I mean, like Danica and I are part of like the Comic-Con world. So.
Right here. One of them is Scratchy, of Itchy and Scratchy.
Yes.
From The Simpsons. Then I have my shelf of Futurama creatures.
Very cool.
I have a stuffed raccoon up top there that you can't see. We go full nerd.
Yeah.
I have a Hess truck up there.
I mean, that's my favorite, aside from talking about like dog rescue and punk rock, I mean, 80s. I mean, I love all the classic stuff. I'm a big Vincent Price fan, but anything 80s, Return of the Living Dead, Creep Show, Trilogy of Terror, all the Monster Club, not to be confused with Monster Squad.
Don't get them confused. Yeah, absolutely. I'll have to tell you my Monster Squad story after this, because I can't tell it on air. It's special.
Is it also risque?
No, it's just like I don't want to put anyone like I don't want to out anybody. So, but it's a funny story.
Say no more. Say no more.
Yeah. Well, okay. So another thing that we wanted to ask you about. So on your website, we were able to listen to some of your voiceovers, and I wanted to know, like, did you grow up doing impressions and creating voices for characters? And who were some of your favorites?
Yeah, I it started really young. I think I have a much older half sister, but I never lived with her growing up. So growing up more or less an only child, I think I got used to kind of like being my own friend, you know what I mean? Like, and just when I realized, I don't even know, I think just doing silly voices and people think it's funny, whether they're classmates or, my mom's friends, my mom would be like, do the voices. And I'd be like, I don't want to do the voices. I'm like, okay. And I would do, whatever. And then getting into, as, an adolescent,
She got your dog.
It's so damn cute.
She's a ham. I'm so glad they're both being well behaved right now. Or at least not trying to impede on my space. As I got older, like 11, 12 years old, and my friends and I started doing like Jerky Boys style prank calls, and I still have a lot of those on tape. And we created characters, and a lot of them, I'm 11, 12 years old. A lot of them aren't, it's just like what do we have? Mr. Mistress and his gimp, you know what I mean? Like what, like pervy, prepubescent voice.
Who is the gimp? Okay.
And it was like, get back in your cage, like just weird, like just inappropriate stuff. Calling Hot Topic and asking if they sold, extra large sex toys and stuff like that. But
Which they did.
Doing them as in voices, whether it was, my cousin, he got captured by some aliens and rectally probed, just like random stupid stuff. And then as as I matured or whatever, I think some of the first things I remember was getting a steady stream of adults going, wow, what a lovely speaking voice you have. You have such a nice baritone in your voice. Wow. And I was like, thanks, I'm 11, and I was in 6th grade, and I had a girlfriend that was in 8th grade, and I called her on the landline, and her parents grounded her because they thought I was a college boy, and I was like 11. And I was like, I'm calling to speak with Jessica. Is she in? And I just this theme of voice stuff. And if I had $1 for every time someone's, you've got a face for radio, and then I went to college briefly, believe it or not, and before I started touring at 19, and I was studying to be an audio engineer, and I thought about getting into broadcasting, and in my mid to late 20s, I started pursuing voiceover because people would say, you've got a voice, you do this, or, oh, you did that voice really good. Or, one of my favorite things to do is Beetlejuice. And I don't know if I can do it because I can see myself and it's embarrassing.
Okay. I understand.
But,
everyone close your eyes.
I don't like, I don't like doing impressions. I'm not an impression guy. I like being given stuff. And for a brief period of time, I had actually in Beverly Hills, I had a really big casting agency that I was working with, and I was getting sent out to read for some notable stuff. And a couple things I read for, of course, didn't book, was character driven, and I was so ecstatic to have someone go, okay, this is an animated series and you are a giant orc, you're a monster. And I was like, well, coming out with this whole thing. And I was like, that was great. You didn't get the job, but I loved it. And so the voiceover thing is just something that I kind of kept in the back of my mind for a long time. And only over the last maybe 3 years have I been pursuing sort of wholeheartedly. And I've got some things I did that are on Netflix, and I narrated a documentary on the 69 Eyes from Finland. If you've heard of them, and just random stuff, and a lot of it is nepotism. So people will be like, dude, I love your band. By the way, I've got this law firm and we're doing a commercial. If I give you X amount of money, will you do this 30-second spot? And I'm like, yes, I will.
I'm available. Yeah.
I'm available. Have your people call my people.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that. And I really enjoy it. If you put a gun to my head and said, what is my dream gig? It would be doing animated stuff and whatnot. And I don't think I've ever talked about this publicly, but Don Jameson from That Metal Show, myself, and my bass player from Faster Pussycat, and maybe one or two other people involved, created an animated series that we were shopping or pitching, or whatever you want to call it, for a couple months, maybe like 4 years ago. And we did one table read of the script. And I think there was something like 15 characters, and I was 11 of them. So I had to I had to volley between, all these different character voices, all, it was like going, and I can do it. I'm embarrassed.
That's okay.
Between and it gets a little mental hopscotchy, and you're not meant Seth MacFarlane isn't doing Family Guy reading between, he's not going between, Brian and like, oh, how's that book coming along, B-Rye? He's not going to like Stewie in between each line. He's doing them all as one character, and he's goes and gets the most expensive coffee I'm sure a man could buy, and then comes back and does the other characters. But yeah, I'm kind of going down a rabbit hole here. I apologize, but
we're with you. Let's go.
It's something I love, and it's a creative outlet for me. And being a horror movie nerd and a fan of stuff like that, Family Guy and stuff like that. I mean, that's my favorite stuff. So if anyone out there is casting an animated series, please consider me for a role. I would love nothing more than to come on your anime. You know what I mean? So
hell yeah. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, Danica and I have like dabbled in that whole world too. Like we used to work for Radio Disney growing up, which was awesome.
You need to tell me more about that.
Oh, Radio Disney.
Yeah.
So I used to do like the voiceovers for the Miami station, which is Radio Disney AM 990. And then I got to like interview celebrities at that time, which was like, I mean, that's a stretch. And then Danica and I had the opportunity to like perform at the different Radio Disney events throughout South Florida. So that was cool.
That's amazing.
It was really awesome. It was cool. We peaked when we were like, 11 years old? And now we're just like, we're like, we did it all already. Like,
that's so disheartening to hear.
No,
we peaked at 11.
Yeah, it was amazing. And now we're just like, doing this. But
no, we talk to other people that have careers.
Cool. And then I did voiceovers for the Discovery Channel, which was fun too. But I mean, now we're just like, we get to surround ourselves with cool people that are in the industry. So I always love hearing about like people's different processes and how they get into voices and like how they picture a character. Like, what do you do first? Like, do you need to visualize the character? Like, do you have to actually see it before you can come up with a voice? Or I don't know. There's so many questions.
I mean, I find that helps. The unfortunate part is I would say 95% of what I've done is me. So it's like, there's no character. I'm just like, well, self, here we go again. I think the last thing I did was for a streaming concert, and it was for Tiffany. I think we're alone now. And completely unrelated, I played on her newest album that's not out yet. What? So, and I don't even know that she knows that I got brought in to do this, but a buddy of mine has this streaming concert series, and he goes, hey, we're doing this, this, and this. Can I hire you to do the thing? So I was like, up next, Tiffany performing all the hits, and so, and the new songs from her new record, that whole thing. But there's no character for that. But I want, you're a giant orc. You're this, you're an old timey campfire miner, and you're looking for gold. I want that. So
we will all manifest it for you, so you can have it.
Please, let's manifest that.
It's yours.
I'm trying.
Yours. You go. It'll happen.
Speaking of characters, and again, me ranting because I'm good at that occasionally.
So are we.
That's why you have this show, and the talent. So the second to last job I did was, as you can imagine, you get clients and they bring you back for other stuff. I have a guy that's doing a book on the DeLorean Motor Company, like the going cars from
Back to the Future.
And so it's like a coffee table book on the John DeLorean Motor Company, the DMC. Oh, and cool. I kept pitching it to him. I was like, you have to let me, because it was just, he wanted me. It was like, John DeLorean in 19, blah, 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 motor car, blah, blah. And just my speaking voice delivery, there's no excitement there for me personally. I love it, but, I can only hear my own voice so much out of the day. And I said, what you gotta do is you gotta let me come in and there has to be a Back to the Future reference. There's gotta be. And he was like, nah, I don't know. And I was like, it's your book, Marty. Something's gotta be done about your book. And I was like, let's just stick a little. And he goes, I love it. You're really good at that. Marty, it's your kids, Marty. And he goes, but no, I don't want to do that. Because I think he was trying to avoid the obvious Back to the Future thing. Or maybe a lawsuit.
Boo. Yeah, okay. The lawsuit, I understand more.
Yeah. And so I sent in my last job for this gig or whatever. And what I normally do, and I don't know about the two of you with voiceover stuff, but I usually, in these kind of instances, I'll go, look, here's 3 passes of each paragraph or each thing or each line or whatever. And then if you have direction, please, take 2 was yes, but if you could just hit more on this word, great. Otherwise, I usually send them off in good faith and hope that they go, we love it, see you later. And that's more, knock on wood, more often than what I get. And so I sent him the whole thing, and it was like, 12 minutes. And at the very end, I was like, I went into a whole, it's your kids, Marty. Something's going to be done about your kids. And he goes, man, that's so good. He goes, I think I'm going to put it in there anyhow. I was like, see, I told you. I was going to have that right out of the gate, but didn't want to listen.
You did it.
Success. Yes.
Now, do you do a Marty impression too, or are we strictly Doc?
I don't know, Doc. I need like a picture, and I need to get the sailor vest.
Oh,
I got to get in character. I don't know. I'm probably not a very good Marty.
But your Doc's great. So I mean, like, who needs both, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
You got Doc.
Fair enough. Well, like I said, I mean, I'm not an impressionist. I'm not. But like every once in a while, something funny will come out, and that'll be that, or someone will bring up, you ever seen that movie? And I'll be like, oh, it's your kids, and they're like, oh, clearly you have too much time on your hands.
Too much. Okay.
I'm not an impressionist either, but today I discovered that I actually do a pretty good droopy dog.
Let's hear it.
I have to figure out what. I'm not very happy right now. I'm so upset. I wish you were here.
That's pretty spot on.
It was impressed. Fun. I did it at work today. One of the girls was like, where did it come from? It's like,
and I have my one impression, and it's terrible. It's it's Ralph Wiggum from The Simpsons. That's the only one and it's probably, and I can only say one line.
Wonderful, do it.
Hold on, let me get into character here. Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm playing Wiggle Puppy. That's all I got. It's awful. They're like, I'm in danger. It tastes like burning. Yeah. Listen, you don't have to put us over.
Take a moment to see the dog just pondering her life out the window right now.
She's just trying not to listen to us. She's like, what is happening? Where are these voices? Are they in my head?
Yeah. It took her about 2 or 3 years to understand that if I'm doing something like this or I'm on the phone or whatever, that it's not, she just hears me. She's like, Dad's excited. He's got to be talking to me,
Yeah, she's so good. They're both being so good. It's impressive.
I mean, it's subjective because he's back there cleaning. You can't see him. He's back there just having the time of his life, chewing on his nether regions.
As you do.
Do what you gotta do.
Yeah. My sister said, she goes, if you could reach, you'd do it too. I said, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Maybe not publicly. You know what I mean? Like dogs.
Know about germs.
Yeah, no, I would. If I could reach it, I would still have like a wet nap or whatever.
Very hygienic.
Next topic.
Well,
let's move
on. Okay. Before we get to the game, I feel like we obviously have to mention your music. And I just want to say, I'm going to curse, but I'm going to say Neon Coven is dope as fuck. Oh my God. Obsessed. What would you like to see for the future of the band?
I mean, it's so hard to say anything right now because of the way the world is. Neon Coven has been a really great project to have started, and with my friends, and it'd be cool to do some shows and whatnot. My personal take is I would love to put out a Neon Coven EP or album every 6 to 12 months because I know that we can do it. Because just there's an F ton of talent in the band, and Jacob Bunton, who produced the entire album and the previous EPs, and is basically the man behind the curtain in the band. He's a band member, but he's like credited as bass player, but he's the guy playing like 78% of the music. Jacob is a really well-known ghostwriter, I think is what I'm allowed to say. Okay. And then also frontman. He's working with Mick Mars from Motley Crue's solo thing that hasn't been released yet, but I might be talking out of turn here. And he's just worked with a ton of household name people. And so he's just very talented. So he'll be like, hey, everybody, here's 2/3 of a finished song. You do your part and you do your part and come up with the outro thing and we're done. And he'll finish. I mean, I think we did our first EP in like 4 days. You know, it was like
that's awesome.
Scary quick. Because of his skill set and talent. But as far as what I'd like to see, I don't know. I mean, you know, what I'd like to see for anybody is just live music returning to almost, or at least a healthy degree of what we were used to. And I'd just like to keep recording and writing and getting some songs placed in film and television and whatnot, because, you know, I mean, what good is putting out a bunch of music if no one ever hears it? And as a guy who's a career musician, you know, we call it mailbox money, but I mean, I'm not going to shy away from anything that pays, you know, sort of retroactively, where if I'm touring, you know, there's something out there doing its own thing, whether it's in a voiceover job or a song in a feature film or whatever it is. It's nice to come home and go, oh, I got this check and I can eat for another 2 weeks, you know.
That's important. Eating.
Yeah, so that kind of stuff. Just anything. I mean, at this point, anything, you know, and I'm sure there'll be more Neon Coven music at some point. And I appreciate the kind words, and I'm glad you liked it, because I am proud of that record. I mean, you know, it's eclectic. You know, it's definitely eclectic. It's anywhere, you know, part Depeche Mode, part Nine Inch Nails, part Rob Zombie. I don't know.
When I heard it the first time, it reminded me of Orgy, which was like one of my favorite bands. Like, and I think the reason why I like it so much is because it feels like comfortable to me. Like, does that make sense? Like, it reminds me of music that made me feel so good, and getting to relive that experience now, listening to this new music, is so comforting. Like, cause it's just like so in my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was, when we set out to do this project, it was like, you know, I'm known for these kind of bands and you're known for these kind of bands, and a lot of it's sort of in the same wheelhouse. And we all respectively like other am I allowed to swear? I know you dropped it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've been trying not to. We like other shit.
You don't need to censor yourself.
Okay, well, I was trying to keep it.
No censorship here. Nah.
Well, in that case, we like other shit. And so we all were like, raise your hand if you like Nine Inch Nails and Depeche Mode. And then we were like, but none of us get to do that. So we're like, why don't we make that instead of the obvious, which is like, oh, the guy from Adler from Guns N' Roses and the guy from Faster Pussycat started a band. Let me guess, it's going to sound like a Sunset Strip band? No. You know, so that was the whole thing, was we were like, well, we already did that. I already wore that hat. Let's do something else and creative. And also, you know, it's kind of contemporary, but also retro. So, we had, I think 5 singles released, and they all managed to do fairly okay for an indie band with no touring history or anything, and get some terrestrial radio play. And then one of my songs, Dead to Me, charted at like 156 or something like that. So I was like, hey man, cool, you know. And you know, it's nice to get recognized for something outside of just sort of the normal obvious, like, hey, you're in such and such band and whatnot. And so you know, because it's my band, you know. Jacob, me, Anthony, and Kyle started that band 4 years ago, something like that. So it's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like you said, you know, you're over there representing Snoop Dogg too. You're allowed to like multiple genres of music, and you're allowed to play multiple genres of music, you know? Yeah,
I mean, I listen to everything. I have my little, like, what I'm listening to now stand up there, and it's Snoop Dogg, Van Halen, and Weezer. And
Put that in a blender.
I mean, those are three of my all-time favorite artists. So, and none of those aren't the same genre.
No.
But I like what I like, and I'm fortunate enough where I've gotten to play a lot of stuff, especially recently during the pandemic, where people are like, "Hey, we're bored and we're gonna do this thing. Do you want to play on a song?" And so I did a hip hop session in the fall, and I did a song with Tiffany on her new, pop rock and hip hop. And the most recent thing I did, these are as a guitar player, I did I guess like EDM kind of thing with a friend of mine that like I'm excited to once it comes out, but I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it yet because I think that's his thing to discuss. But just completely different. And then in the middle of it, I'm doing the new LA Guns record, which we just finished. And none of that's the same genre. And so I love that, just like the voiceover stuff, I like to keep it interesting and do, the variety is the spice of life,
So they say.
Yeah. And thus concludes my TED Talk.
Okay. Well, okay.
I'm glad I was able to be here for that.
Danica, do you think
Sorry,
we should just...
I ranted.
No, rant away.
No apology.
Do you think we should go into the game, Danica, and then we'll see if we have time for questions after?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay, so we have a game of Would You Rather. There's no wrong answers. If you want to elaborate on why you pick something, fantastic. If not, that's cool too. Okay, we have some graphics. Ta-da! Let's bring them to the screen. Okay. Would you rather share a bed with Charlie and Frank or live in the suburbs with Mac and Dennis?
Okay, well, how long is this time frame? Is this like...
Let's make it a month.
I'm gonna have to live in the suburbs with Mac and Dennis.
Okay.
Because if I had my druthers, I would much rather share a bed with Charlie and Frank for maybe a night or two. But then after that, I think I would throw up on them.
Yeah, all the cat food. Yeah, it's a lot. And
Yeah.
I mean, would you like rock that same look as Charlie? Like, do you go with those? I don't even know what those are.
Long johns.
Long johns?
Yeah, those are they look to be
thermals.
really weathered thermals. And yeah, I think I would go more with the Frank look, like the oversized shirt, and I'm gonna assume he's naked underneath.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. But okay, good choice. Suburbs it is. All right, Danica, next one.
All right. Would you rather box with a kangaroo or wrestle an alligator?
I would rather box with a kangaroo because I don't feel like I would die getting struck in the face by a kangaroo, whereas wrestling with an alligator, that's just slim success rate there. So
Okay. I hear kangaroos pack a mean punch, though.
I mean, as I've found out several times in my life, I can actually take a punch. But being bit on by an alligator, I would prefer not to.
You want to keep your limbs. All right, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, here's the next one. Would you rather turn into the Wolfman every full moon or never step into the sunlight like Dracula?
Oh, easy. I would rather be Dracula.
Oh, easy, he says. I feel like you've thought about this.
Because I'm already a nocturnal animal critter. Excuse me.
No, it's okay. Do what you have to do. You're in frame. You're on camera.
He's chewing on his foot pad, and he will chew it till it bleeds, and I was trying to prevent that.
Yeah, we don't want that.
The licking is fine. The chewing, I don't want. I mean, I already am like practically a freaking vampire, and turning into the Wolfman. I mean, that's so much body hair and
ripped clothing, like just like like I don't know. Yeah. Fair enough.
Not for me. I feel like the dogs would be pretty annoyed by that too.
Yeah.
So
true.
Very likely.
Okay. Next one.
All right. Would you rather have Snoopy as a real life pet or Scooby-Doo as a real life pet?
I mean, this couldn't be catered more to me. I would rather have Scooby-Doo because I such a Scooby-Doo fan as a child that at some point nobody failed to tell my sister that I had entered my 30s. Because my sister, until maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, was still buying me Scooby-Doo stuff. So yeah, no, I would rather have Scooby-Doo. That's my guy,
Have you ever owned a Great Dane?
No. Have you?
My mother-in-law actually has 2.
Wow, it's a lot
They're
of
a lot.
dog.
It's a lot of dog, but they're very lazy. They're actually ideal apartment pets, which is, you would think, completely doesn't make any sense. But they're so lazy.
I got sat on by a Great Dane once. That was forever embedded in my brain. All right, here's the next one. Would you rather go on tour with only one change of clothes or forget your headphones before leaving for tour?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about that is I've done both.
Okay.
Can I just purchase more clothes or headphones?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. I mean, I would rather forget my headphones because when you go on tour, you want, at least 2 or 3 stage outfits and some clean clothes. And you might be, in my instance, partial to those specific items, whereas headphones are headphones. So I'd rather just walk into a gas station and buy some new headphones. It's probably easier.
I like the rationale on that one. All right. Next one.
All right. Would you rather voice a cartoon villain or voice a cartoon version of a horror character?
Well, shit the bed. I would rather. That's not a good Sid Haig, by the way.
It wasn't bad.
We got it.
We got it.
I could probably do an okay Sid Haig. I'm just looking at the picture. I would rather do I'm going to break any preconceived notion. I would rather do the cartoon villain. I guess. I don't know. Can I have, this is the one where I would prefer both.
Okay, you can have both.
I want both.
Yeah. Both for you. Okay, great. All right. Would you rather cover a song from the first CD you ever bought or cover a song from the first concert you ever saw?
I would go with the first CD I ever bought because
which was?
I don't remember what the order was, but I can tell you the first albums that I got with my own money were like the obligatory 1994 albums. And it was like the Blue Weezer album is behind me. Green Day Dookie, Stone Temple Pilots Purple, and what's the other one? Something else equally obvious. Like it might be Nirvana in Utero. And literally of all 4 of those albums, I have no shame. I mean, those are still some of my favorite albums. So I would rather record those. And first concert I ever saw, I don't remember. So it would be hard to say. It's probably something my parents or my mom dragged me to. It's probably like Yanni or something awful. So
Yanni. Yeah, my first concert was Hanson, but my first CD was Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill, I think.
You and 7 million other children in the suburbs. Yeah, myself included.
Such a good album, though.
I still have that record. I
always think of Dave Coulier now. I'm just like, is it made out of who would? A terrible Dave Coulier impression, but okay, let's move along. Here's the next one.
Ooh. Would you rather work with Frank Welker or work with Jim Cummings?
Are these okay?
So they voice all of those the respective characters.
My vision is so bad. I saw Scooby and what looked like flowers, so I was like,
so Frank Welker, Scooby-Doo. I'm trying to think of what the name of it from Aladdin. He does it all. And then Jim Cummings literally does like all the Looney Tunes. Winnie the Pooh and
Frank Welker for sure.
Legend. We love. All right. Danica? Yes.
Wait, no.
Or me? Okay. Would you rather write a concept album based on conspiracy theories or write a concept album based on superstitions?
I think Wednesday 13 already did the first one. I think this conspiracy theories thing has been done. I'm sure they've both been done to death, but I don't know, because then I start thinking from like a business standpoint. Where I'm like, well, which topic would be easier to tackle lyrically speaking? I mean, it's interesting. I was just talking about being superstitious today, which is a topic I don't think I ever talk about because I keep all my weirdness to myself. I guess I'd rather do the conspiracy theory thing. I feel like there's a pretty unending tap of that in today's universe.
You ain't wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. And now full
Our
circle.
last one.
Danica.
Oh, yes. Would you
There's that
rather
episode.
perform in Dennis's electric train machine outfit or perform in Charlie's Bob Dylan outfit?
I mean, David Bowie Dream Machine for sure. And I'll wear that on tour. I don't give a shit. The Bob Dylan outfit looks like something I would wear like to meet a friend for a drink. But you know, all hail David Bowie, and that's clearly what the Electric Dream Machine ensemble. You know, he's got the Aladdin Sane thing going on there.
It is a little Aladdin Sane-ish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, such a good episode. Amazing. Like I said, it was going to come back later, and we full circled
There
it.
you go.
And now that we're at the hour, even though we're like, well, it's a cool 40, we kept you an hour. I apologize. Any thoughts on Tracy Sunbomb collaboration?
Yeah, I think it's a really cool record. I want to talk about it, but then there's like it's like, can I say that? I'm not on the album, but before it was Sunbomb as we know it, I had played on some of it. So I'm very familiar with the material and the record, and I think it's really cool. And Tracy's the coolest boss I could ever have. And I mean, he's literally, Tracy Guns is the Guns of Guns N' Roses. I mean, doesn't get any fucking cooler than that. And he's a good friend and a really cool bandmate. So, I mean, he could fart on a snare drum and I would listen to it, you know, so that's how I feel about it.
Oh, what a concept album. Okay.
That was a reference to a movie, by the way. It was an Airheads reference.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That Brandon Fraser.
Yeah.
And Adam Sandler. Okay,
and,
wow.
And the guy whose name I can never pronounce right, Steve
Buscemi.
Buscemi, never know.
She got Steve Buscemi eyes. Anyway, so before we wrap this up, any final thoughts that you want to leave us with here today?
I saw your Corey Taylor episode. I thought that was really cool.
We had fun.
I don't know why I launched into that. I think I had a thought. Oh, I don't know. Anything else? I don't know. I got nothing.
Cool.
Hire me for voiceover work.
Yeah.
And rescue or foster a dog. Yeah, Mike, you definitely owe me dinner. And you know, be a good person. That's my parting thought.
That's
wholeheartedly agree.
Especially in this day and age. Just be good.
Yeah, no shit. Thank you both so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, before we do let you go, we have to go over our upcoming guest schedule. So here we go. Okay, so next Tuesday we have Brett Azar, who is from Young Rock. He plays the Iron Cheek, so that'll be a lot of fun. Next Thursday we have Jeremy Furstenfeld and Steve Schultz of Harvard of the South. Then, a bonus show Friday, we have Peter Noon, who was Herman of Hermit's Hermits. Then Tuesday after we have Vinny Dombrowski for Sponge. We have Casey Jost coming back from Practical Jokers, and we're ending the month with Amy Asbeck from Robin Hood Men in Tights, Tights, and that'll be fun. And Ace, we have to do this again because we literally got through maybe 5 of our questions.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And we wanted to talk more music, so we'll have to plan this squeak wall.
I would be honored to come back. You just say when.
Okay, when? Anyway, so
hopefully I'll have a third dog by then.
Yay! We can only be so lucky. Yay! Bring on the doggos. Anyway, guys, I guess we'll see you guys. What's today? Thursday. Okay, we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Be safe, everybody. Bye.